안녕하세요. 로스앤젤레스 한인 회장 제임스입니다. 여러분들 집에 인터넷 많이 쓰시죠? 드라마도 보고 유튜브도 보실 텐데요. 우리 생활에서 인터넷은 이제 필수가 됐습니다. 하지만 인터넷 비용 부담되신 적 다들 있으시죠? 30불, 매월 30불씩 인터넷 요금을 할인해주는 프로그램이 있습니다. Affordable Connectivity 프로그램은 저소득층 가족에게 매월 30불의 할인 혜택을 제공하고 있습니다. 거의 무료 또는 저렴한 비용으로 인터넷을 이용할 수 있어 요즘 같은 시기에 여러분 살림에 큰 도움이 될 것입니다. 신청을 원하시면 LA하인회로 지금 연락 주시기 바랍니다.
Hi, welcome to the first episode of our podcast. I'm Alan.
I'm Jenny.
And I'm Brandon.
Oh, sorry, that's my turn. My name is James. I'm the producer of this podcast. I'm behind the camera today, but God willing, you will meet me soon. Jenny, why don't you tell our audience members and those watching YouTube today a little bit about KAFLA and who we are, what we do.
So KAFLA basically stands for the Korean American Federation of Los Angeles, or we're also known as LA하인회. We were established back in 1962. Our branch is located in LA, but there's different branches worldwide and nationwide in the United States. Our current president is James Ann, and currently we're mainly focused on social work, so like Medi-Cal assistance, CalFresh assistance. We basically help out with any needs, like when community members come into their office within our limits. We try to help with anything, even like jury duty excusals, just anything that they might need.
Awesome. So, yeah, this organization has been around for a really long time. And it's pretty cool, like being able to help out all these people within the community. So I know that we actually have a YouTube channel that started back in 2020, I believe. I think James knows the most about that. Could you tell us a little bit about that, James?
Sure, Alan. We have a YouTube channel, which y'all are watching it on. But you're watching this podcast on our YouTube channel. We created it actually in 2019, and then we started getting serious about it in 2020, around February, when rumors were hitting that there was a virus pretty much coming towards the United States from different parts of the world, and we thought that we all thought at the time 3 weeks and we'll be back to normal. Obviously, those 3 weeks turned into 3 years, and now we're going on, I don't even know, 3.5 years maybe since the beginning of the pandemic. And so we created the YouTube channel to put in Korean language, because our organization is predominantly a Korean American community service organization. So we started putting out financial assistance information, teaching elderly first generation Korean Americans about how to file for unemployment, file for SBA, EIDL loans. Financial assistance programs that could kind of help Korean Americans get through the pandemic. So that's how we started. Since then, in the last 3.5 years, we've done a daily news channel. We continue to offer financial assistance videos, how-to videos on how to apply for programs such as what Jenny mentioned, like Medicare, Medi-Cal, CalFresh, food stamps, unemployment insurance, SBA loans, different microgrants that come out from the city, from the county, from the state, from the federal level. So all that jazz. And so myself as the producer of this podcast, we thought it'd be kind of cool to get some of our, younger millennial staff, if you will, to get in front of a camera and just kind of talk about, what their lives are like, living as second and maybe sometimes third generation Korean Americans in the United States, in Los Angeles. As you all know, 2023, we're celebrating the 120th anniversary of Korean American immigration. It's been about 50 years since the official establishment of Los Angeles and Koreatown in the city of Los Angeles. So there's a lot of things to be proud of as a Korean American these days, especially with K-pop, K-food, and all these different things. So we thought it'd be kind of cool to share that experience with you as YouTube viewers and as viewers of our channel. So I hope you guys like the program. You can please watch us grow as a podcast. Don't forget to smash. What do you guys say these days? Smash that like button.
Yeah.
And click subscribe. One of these days you will meet me as well, and I'll hopefully Alan and the crew will allow me to come on as a guest someday.
Hopefully.
Right, guys?
Yes.
Jenny? I'll think about it.
He's a little hesitant for that one.
So let's see. What do we have on our agenda today? Okay, so as the producer, I kind of want to ask you guys and kind of throw this out to you. What do you think you want to share with our subscribers and our viewers? Let's start with Brandon.
I guess people would want to know and like would like have that burning desire to know is like what's like a day in a life of like an average 20-year-old person or like 21, 22. We're all like in our 20s right now, early 20s, mid 20s, and I feel like not everyone really gets to know what we do on like a daily basis, and I feel like if we're given a platform like this, like being able to share that as well as give our input on how life is, as well as also be on a platform where we're able to be a bit more educational as well, where we can talk about Korean history or whatnot. So I just some of those topics I've been like kind of thinking about. I don't know what you guys been thinking about. Do you guys have anything?
Yeah. I think something that I've been starting to try and understand a lot more recently is how my life falls within the different cultures or the different cultural spheres that I exist in. So I grew up like Korean American, right? But I have like a foot in each culture, like American and Korean culture. So I'm trying to find my own identity within these cultures. I'm trying to understand where I fall in, like where I'm really supposed to be, because we're kind of in like the middle space, right, between Korean and American culture.
Yeah.
So I'm just trying to learn more about that and kind of just trying to figure out for myself like where I want to be for myself, rather than where I think I should be, where like I want to be personally. So I'm just on like a path for exploration. That's pretty much it.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. What about you, Jenny?
Same, like Brandon and Alan. I think it's important we go over like life as a Korean American and our cultural, like the history. But I also think it's important to go over like local news that might be like important for the viewers to know. Also like just like worldwide news, like the Congo genocide and whatnot. But yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, Jenny. This is James, guys. Did you just say the Congo genocide?
I mean, there's like, a lot of news that the older generation Koreans and younger generation Koreans don't really know about. So I think it's important, since we have a platform, we can go for like those types of news too.
No, that's great. I mentioned earlier that we used to do a news program here. We did it for a little over a year, right, Jenny?
Yeah.
And so most of our staff here at KAFLA, it was actually kind of fun. I was the anchor, and 4 of our staff members were the reporters, and we would get assignments every day assigned to us from our producer, and they would give us news bits that we would have to read off, and it really allowed us to learn about like what's going on, like current events, locally, nationally, globally. And so, yeah, I'm actually hearing about this Congo genocide thing for the first time. It just goes to show that I need to watch the news more. But yeah, I really think it's important for, especially even younger folks to get really plugged into the Korean American society. I know, we're all very busy in our daily lives doing, whatever it is that we do, whether we're going to school, whether we're working, whether we're, young parents with young children. But it's always nice, as somebody who lived my entire life in Koreatown and the Korean community, I never really gave back to the Korean community. I think there's a lot of benefits that I took away from the community, but never did I really think at all, like, what can I do for my community, right? 20, 30 years ago, we had no representation in local or federal government, but now it's completely different. We have 4 sitting, federal congressional members, numerous numbers of state assembly members. We have a city council member that's Korean American in the city of Los Angeles, in John Lee, and our political representation, I think, is something that we couldn't have imagined even 30 years ago when the then famous 1992 LA riots happened. You guys might be a little too young to know about it, but I'm sure you've heard of it, and I'm sure you've watched it on YouTube. So, I think it's kind of cool that we have this platform. Thank God to the organization that we can even buy those cool looking mic boom arms that we've been struggling with for the last couple of weeks, trying to get this place set up so we can make it look nice for you viewers. But yeah, just talking about local and different current events that are going on, and examine how that can relate to us as Korean Americans in Los Angeles, and try to not be too formal and kind of give you a casual spin and some opinion on what we think of these current events as it pertains to Korean Americans living in Los Angeles. What do you guys think about that?
Yeah. No, I think that sounds cool.
Awesome.
Of course.
All right.
Well, let me pose a question to you guys then. I kind of want to know, and I'm pretty sure the viewers want to know a little bit more about you guys personally, right? Did you guys tell us how old you are?
No.
Oh, okay. So let's
I'm-
start with Alan,
yeah.
and then we'll go to Jenny, and then Brandon next.
Yeah, so I'm 23.
I'm 22.
I'm 20, turning 21 in a month.
Happy birthday, Brandon. What about like? I mean, so you guys are working here right now, but like, what do you guys? What are your interests? Like, how do you see you guys yourselves in the next? I don't know. What do you want to pursue as a career, Alan?
Oh, that's a hard question. This is something I've been thinking about a lot, but I haven't found the answer because there isn't some like one thing I know I want to do. Yeah, I can't answer that question. I don't have an answer for you, unfortunately.
I think that's okay. You know, I think you guys are at an age that's young enough where you can kind of figure it out as you go. What about you, Jenny?
Did you say 10 years
Oh,
later?
well, let's not even go that far.
Oh.
Let's go 10 years. Yeah, that's
No,
that's
because
fine.
me personally, I majored like as a nurse, like a nursing major. So I don't think I see myself having a like future with nursing for that long. Like maybe just like working for about like a few years. But I think I fit business more. Ever since I was little, like in high school, I would have my own like site and like sell stuff and make some income off of that. And I think I've just always just had business in mind.
Wow.
Brandon?
Damn. No, what's it called? Yeah. My whole entire life, I thought I was destined to become like a surgeon or like, be in the medical field. Cause like when I was in 5th grade, I had like a really bad like heartburn, and then so I went to the ER in the middle of my recess in 5th grade because I had no idea what was happening, and then I saw like the medical equipment. I saw that heartbeat machine.
The heart rate
Oh.
monitor?
Yeah, I saw all the machines and
Uh-huh.
everything. I was like, oh my god, I was like so like intrigued of like becoming like a surgeon. And then after I went to college, I was like, damn, this stuff's kind of hard, and like there's so much competition. And I'm not saying that I'm not willing to not grind for it, but it's just like I took a step back, and then I realized that I don't really want to go to school for like the next 15 years of my life. So I took a step back. Right now I'm taking a break from school, and I don't really know what I want to do. I'm still like trying to like test out the water, see like what fields that I'm more interested in, or like fields that I feel like I'm good at. And so that's how I ended up in KAFLA too, trying to do some volunteer work. Also help my community at the same time. But yeah, I don't really have like a set major or path for me right now. I'm very open to everything. I'm like a very easy learner, I'm very open-minded and everything. So it's like, for me, it's like I have to find that one thing I'm truly like, like destined for or something. I don't know, and then I'll like figure it out. But as of late, it's like kind of been like, I don't know yet.
Let's see, Alan.
Yes.
I want to know where you grew up. Tell us a little bit about your upbringing and your background.
Yeah. So,
You know what I'm really interested in? I'm really interested in like kind of about your parents.
okay.
Not all of us, not all of our parents are still together, but whatever your family dynamic is, where you grew up, how you grew up, I'm really interested in that.
Yeah. So I grew up in the valley, the San Fernando Valley. It's north of Los Angeles, maybe like a 20-minute drive if there's no traffic. And my parents immigrated here when they were in their 20s. So they got married in Korea, and then they moved here. And then they had me maybe like when my dad was 32 and my mom was 4 years younger, around there. And so I basically spent my entire childhood growing up in the San Fernando Valley. And the San Fernando Valley is like, it's actually a pretty nice place because there's a decent Korean community there. Even though it's not like the same size as K-Town, right? I did grow up with a lot of Korean people surrounding me, so I did feel very comfortable going to school and having like meeting a lot of friends as well. And I only recently moved down to K-Town like maybe 2-3 years ago, so I'm still relatively new to the area, and I'm still like adjusting from living in the suburban life to like straight up city life. But yeah, I think I'm very blessed with my family because I have very loving parents and an older brother. And yeah, that's kind of like the short summary of it. Yeah. Yeah. What about you guys? Did you guys grow up here?
Yeah, I also grew up in LA.
Mm-hmm.
My parents came to the US back in the 90s. They had my brother at 29 and they had me at 30. And growing up, I grew up most of my life like next to K-Town. So it was still in LA. I grew up in mostly Korean like neighborhoods. And I used to go to Korean churches, Korean hagwon. So I was always surrounded by Koreans.
Mm-hmm.
So I was very comfortable. I also engaged in a lot of Korean like community service work, like Happy Village, or Hwarang, all of these Korean nonprofit like volunteer service organizations. So yeah.
Okay, that's pretty cool. So you guys both spent a lot of time like volunteering.
I loved
like-
volunteering.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I don't really love it, but I kind of had to do it for college.
For college. Yeah. No, I get that. So I'm guessing you guys like grew up pretty engaged within the Korean community, like in your
Yeah.
neighborhoods, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I learned a lot of Korean from like my Korean friends.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
So thanks to them.
Yeah, it's really interesting. Like I was surrounded by a lot of Koreans growing up, but I didn't feel as engaged in my Korean community. I think a big part of it was because we didn't go to church, right? Because I feel like church is a huge part of like growing up with the Korean community, because it's so central. Like there's the constant contact with a lot of Koreans.
Yeah. Wait, did your what middle school did you go to?
Do you know Porter?
The one
George K. Porter?
What's wrong? Porter? No. Is that? Are there a lot of Koreans there? No.
Not
Yes,
really.
Not really.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, cause like I went to JB, which is John Burroughs. It's in Hancock Park.
Mm-hmm.
We're kind of in that region, right? JB.
Yeah, just in Wilshire.
Yeah.
Yeah, Hancock Park.
And then like there's like a lot of Korean kids that go
Yeah.
there.
Really?
Like
I went there too.
so yeah. So when
What?
while I was growing up, right, I would like play a lot.
Wait a
of, like,
minute. Did you guys
basketball.
both go to John Burroughs Junior High School?
Yeah.
Did you guys know each other?
No, she's
No.
older than me.
He was
Oh,
probably
you're-
still in the same year when I was at John Burroughs, but since we're different, like
Yeah.
So there's a
Yeah.
term for that in Korean. If a
Hube.
girl, well,
like-
yeah, when it comes to school. Oh, you know what, Jenny? For those people who don't know what a hube is, could you explain what a hube and a 선배 is?
so. We have two Korean terms in Korean: 선배 and hube. 선배 is somebody that's older than you that went to the same school as you, and hube is like, somebody that went to the same school as you that's younger. That went to the
Brandon, did you know that?
Yeah, but I never really used that term.
But you know what it
Yeah.
is, though,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Alan, do you know what a 선배 hube is?
I've kind of like denounced what it meant from context.
Okay.
Yeah, but I also don't use it. like, at
Okay.
all. Yeah.
So now that we've got that covered, so basically, if we went to the same school and I'm older than you, then or like I'm a higher class than you, then I'm your 선배. But if I was young, like in a lower grade than you, then I'm your 후배. So that's gonna be our first educational piece of this first episode of the podcast. But also, you know, unrelated to school, if you guys are just, you know, you guys met as friends, let's say. You guys went to go party somewhere and you guys met. And Jenny is obviously a little bit older than Brandon. What is the terminology in Korean to call yours? What would Brandon have to call you as an older female? As a male, what would he have to call an older female?
Nuna, right?
Exactly. Right. And then if Brandon and Alan met outside, what would Brandon have to call you, Alan, because you're a little bit older?
Hyung.
Right. And then how does it go for females?
언니 and
오빠.
Oppa.
oh,
Right?
언니
Yeah.
오빠.
Yeah.
언니 is for like
누나.
if there's.
누나 형.
Yeah.
Yeah, 언니 오빠 누나 형.
Yeah.
Well, we're the same like birth year. It's just that our months are so far.
Oh,
apart.
really?
Yeah.
But are you guys same year?
Yeah.
Oh, you guys same year, but
2000.
same class? High school class?
I don't think so. Because my birthday's so late, so I had to go in like the next.
Yeah, me
Yeah.
too. December
Okay.
31st.
Yeah.
Interesting.
December 31st.
Jenny, when's your birthday?
December 19th.
19. Okay. So your birthdays are what? 20.
11. No, 12 days apart.
What's
10.
19 minus 30?
Oh yeah. Wait.
Wait, what is it?
What?
That's 12.
Yeah,
12 days
12,
apart.
right?
Okay. Okay, that's like half a month. Oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Very cool.
Wait, so going back, so you guys went to schools that were like majority Korean?
Yeah.
Like 70%
Yeah,
Korean.
middle school? Yeah, for sure.
Like I can't imagine that.
Yeah.
Like I can't even imagine that.
Imagine like a big parking lot, just like an open parking lot,
Uh-huh.
7, 8 basketball courts, and just a bunch of little Korean kids just running out playing basketball.
cute.
That was one of them.
Uh,
Played basketball every single day in middle school.
Yeah, because I think every school I've gone to, I was a minority, right? So it's like either white or Hispanic were the majority. So there was always like a small community of Asian kids or like minority kids that I would be able to interact with. Which is very interesting because I think that's also like a pretty big influence on like how I grew up as well, like my circle of friends as well. Even though almost all my friends right now are Korean. Yeah, it's very interesting.
I don't know. For me, it kind of changed in high school. Because once I went to high school, I didn't go to all of the schools that my middle school friends went to because they went to like Fairfax, Marshall. They went to like some big school. And mom's like, "You're not going to a big school." So I went to a smaller school, and in that small school there was only 4 Koreans.
Wow.
So I went from majority Korean to the minority Korean. That was
Wow.
kind of tough, you know.
I know.
Yeah.
That was me too.
Yeah, it was different. It was like very interesting transition. Like I had to like because I would play basketball with only Korean kids in middle school, right? I learned how to play basketball with like African American kids and like
Yeah.
Latino kids or
Yeah.
etc. Other people, and you know, I just like, for me, like I guess like diving into other communities wasn't like the hardest thing because I like I said, I'm like a very open person, so it's like for me it's like, I mean I feel like I know boundaries pretty well, so it's like we know like just having that mutual respect because of the sport that we play for basketball. Just for example, in basketball, because I feel like if you're not really like in a certain community, for example, like sports, transitioning to like different groups of people is kind of harder because like for basketball, it was like a mutual respect type thing where it's like it'll be bad sportsmanship if someone says something or you know does some other thing to another person for no apparent reason, you know.
Yeah.
So it's like for me, transition was kind of good, or going into other communities. But I don't know how it is for you guys. I know Jenny said she went from majority to minority too. So
Yeah. I first went to Fairfax, which also had a lot of Koreans, but then I transferred over in sophomore year to Bravo Medical Magna High School, which is predominantly like Hispanic people. So it was hard adjusting, but after some time, yeah, it was okay.
Yeah, you just get used to it. Yeah, I understand that.
like
as well.
we Asians adapt, or we Koreans
Pretty
adapt.
Yeah. I mean, you have to.
Yeah,
You have
true.
to. Yeah. So when did your parents come to the States?
I can start.
Yeah, so Brandon, you were telling us about like when your mom.
Yeah. So my mom, she came to the United States around like, I forgot the range, or I forgot the specific age, but range around 7 to like 10.
Mm.
And so that makes me around like a second generation Korean American.
Okay.
And I don't want to go too much into my mom's like life because that's her life. But
Yeah.
she came and with my grandparents, and the reason that all happened is mainly kind of because my real grandmother died of breast cancer when my mom was
Really young.
very young. So I didn't really get to meet my real grandmother either. So obviously, like the one I have right now is a step. I don't really call her a step. I still call her my Harmony grandma. Anyways, all that happened, and then she moved over with my step grandmother, and my grandfather, and they've been living, or my grandparents have been living in Gardena ever since they got a house there. So they've been just chilling there. They used to have an old scooter shop back down in Gardena. And then they sold it off not too long ago because they're all retired now and everything. Yeah, that's just a little life story about my mom.
Yeah.
Anyone else wants to hop in?
Yeah. So I guess that makes all of us second gen
Second gen?
Korean
Pretty
Americans. Yeah. Okay. Do you guys ever think about what life would have been like if we grew up in Korea?
Shoot, I have a crazy story on that too.
Oh yeah?
Yeah. So what happened was like, if you guys ever met my grandfather, he's like kind of like gangsta. He's like my mom always tells me like he's like Korean mafia and stuff. And back then, my real grandmother, she owned nightclubs.
Oh.
So she would have she said she owned like 3-4 nightclubs in Korea. I forgot which area.
Wow.
And then, but my grandfather was in the mafia, so how they met was, the mafia gang members go to the nightclub,
Yeah.
right? And then they met. So that's what happened. So if I lived in Korea, if my life was actually all in Korea, and if hypothetically, I guess like my dad and my mom met in Korea, because my dad is from Korea as well. Be a mafia nightclub gang member. I don't know.
You could have had a very different life. A very different life.
It would have been, different from. But I'll never have been to, LA, K-Town or anything. But, that's just like a hypothetical.
Yeah.
It's kind of funny just imagining that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, I wasn't expecting that at all, but
Yeah.
that's
Crazy
very
story, man.
that's
Crazy
very
story.
interesting.
Yeah.
Uh,
Guys have anything crazy like that?
yeah. Have you given it any thought, like what growing up in Korea would be like?
There will definitely be some pros and cons. Well, first of all, like all of my family members live in Korea. So when it's like Chuseok or Thanksgiving, I definitely miss them. So if I was living in Korea, that would have been definitely like the biggest pro. And for the con, studying is very
a lot harder,
rigorous
yeah.
over there. So I don't know if I would have survived over there, like just studying. I also like heard the term Hell Choson because it's so difficult to live in Korea, like the job market. And
I mean,
studying.
yeah, it's just like that.
So I'm not too sure if I lived there, like if I would be able to like survive. But.
One thing I always told my friends too is I don't think I want to like be raised in Korea, but I think after you get like rich, you move to Korea type thing.
Yeah, because living in
living in Korea is like I think the
much
quality of
different.
life in Korea is so much better
Yeah.
than like compared to America. But it's like trying to like I guess like make it in Korea is like so hard. It's really hard. Yeah.
Yeah, that's something I also think about a lot. It's like if I did grow up in Korea, I'd probably have a much harder time because especially like the studying because it's so competitive.
It's so competitive.
And like just all of the conditions and like what you have to do in order to become like financially stable is like the barrier is so much higher than it is in America. Right? And like this is something I think about a lot. Like we're like so blessed, like our parents made the sacrifice to give us a better opportunity to live in a nation or in in a place abundant with easier access to a lot of like financial opportunity, right? That's something I also think about a lot. But I do agree though. Like Korea would be a great place to live
Yeah.
Yeah.
after you're financially stable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Agreed.
I think it'd be amazing. Yeah.
People really try to enjoy their life over there. Like all the different hobbies that I've never even seen living here.
Yeah.
Like fishing,
Yeah.
going to like another island in Korea.
Yeah.
And it's so much cheaper to pursue all of these different hobbies.
Mm.
So
Yeah.
Jenny, I know you went to Korea recently, right? How long ago was that?
I went back in May and then I came back in June.
Tell us briefly, like what Korea was like. When was the last time you went to Korea before you went in May?
Before I went recently, the last time I went was about a year ago. And for the recent trip, I also went with my friends and my mom. So basically,
When you said you went with your friends, I was like, oh, that must have been so fun. And then you said I went with my mom. And I was like, maybe it wasn't
so
that
I was
fun.
like, some days I was with my mom, some days I was with my friends. I went to Lotte World, Gapyeong. In Gapyeong, there's this like activity called baji, where you wear like a vest and you ride this inflatable, like outdoor,
Raft?
not a raft, but it's just this like inflatable toy where you just hold on to, and a yacht just basically pulls you around and drags you like across the lake. So there's
Is that
stuff
like the
that.
banana, like the U.S.
Yeah.
equivalent of a
Banana
banana boat?
boat.
Dude, that thing is wild.
And there's like this one
Looks so
inflatable thing where you just like jump off this high,
Cliff?
like
And
kind
then,
of cliff.
and then you just like
Yeah, and then
you
you like
fly
scoot
out.
it like towards the end, and then another person jumps on top, and you just go flying.
yeah.
Yeah, no thanks.
See that in
And all
running,
these
man.
other different like other activities.
What was the most delicious thing you had in Korea in May?
I love changeo,
Who?
changeo eel. That's just like my personal.
Oh, yeah, I think we're gonna have to put a picture of it up on the screen right now for some of you who don't know what
That's my
chango
number
is.
one changeo.
You like chango?
Wait,
Like
raw
fish.
or
Oh, like cooked eel.
okay,
You've never
great.
tried
Can
it?
you
No,
eat
I've had
eel
grilled.
raw?
I don't think you can eat
You
raw
can- I don't
eel.
think you can
I've
I've never
raw.
heard
Wait,
of that.
really? It's not a thing?
I don't think that's a thing.
Yeah.
Okay, I might be mistaken.
It's so good. Healthy
Yo,
for
eating
you.
raw eel?
Oh,
Oh, man, you're making me and probably the viewers really hungry right now.
such a 맛집.
Alan, when's the last time you went to Korea?
I actually went around the same time. I went during May, the last 3 weeks. So actually basically the same time. Like we could have even seen each other.
I highly doubt that. But what was the most delicious thing you had in Korea?
곱창.
Dude, you guys are
yeah.
a bunch of 20-year-old 할머니es and 할아버지's, man.
No,
One
the
person says chango, one person says 곱창.
It was so good.
You guys like 곱창?
Yes.
Okay.
I like
love
that more,
it.
but yeah.
Bunch of grandmas and
Oh, the tongue
grandpas.
was too fatty.
Brandon, I know you recently went to Korea not too long ago. Tell us when you went and what was the actually main reason? Because you went for kind of a special thing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, I don't want to be like a little bragging kid on the podcast, but you know, I got invited to go to Korea by the Korean government. It was because of how my family generation is a generation of freedom fighters. And what that means is that my great grandfather, he was part of the independence freedom fighters that fought against the Japanese imperialism, and he died in that process. And so what my grandfather did was he retraced back to my great grandfather and found our lineage. So I'm considered a fifth generation up from him of a freedom fighter generation. So because of that, I was invited to go to Korea for a Kwamboke event. And in that event, I was able to go see the DMV, go meet the president of South Korea.
Wait, you went to the Department of Motor Vehicles in Korea?
Oh, not DMV, my bad. DMZ.
Just making sure.
Yeah, we went to the DMZ. I got to shake hands with the president of South Korea. I got to see all these memorials in Korea that I've never even heard of or like seen of ever in my life, like historical memorials and stuff. Like I was able to get a free stay at a 5-star hotel called Ambassador. I don't know if you guys heard it. But the hotel was really nice. I got like a big room and like a big bed by myself. It was pretty cool. I watched Netflix every night. Anyways, but yeah, I was able to eat a lot of good food. I also went to Jeju-do, and Jeju-do I tried horse meat, which is the weirdest thing I've ever tried in my life.
Ew.
It was so weird. I also tried horse yukke, and I think after I ate the horse yukke and the horse meat, like I got a really bad
stomachache?
helicopter virus.
Oh.
I don't know what it's, you know what I'm talking about. It's like a
Yeah.
Mur virus thing.
Oh.
So basically, I wasn't like adjusted to the Korean water, so I got really sick. So during my trip, I went to the ER and everything. It was like really bad.
Wow.
Yeah, but anyways, like my trip was really fun.
Brandon, do you have any pictures of the raw horse meat that you had?
Somewhere in my phone, I
Find it.
gotta
We're gonna show it to the. No, not right now,
Yeah,
but
I'll
we'll
find it
eventually
somewhere.
find it, and we're gonna show
Yeah.
it to the YouTubers,
It's like
and we're gonna get banned from YouTube.
like the thing too. The meat, it was like very. You know how horses are like muscular, so like
Yeah.
the meat is like very
Oh,
chewy.
chewy.
Yeah,
Tough.
it's so chewy and like tough, and it's like I don't know. It was okay. It was okay.
Mm.
So, what was the most delicious thing you had aside from very tough horse meat?
Delicious thing, I'd say probably just regular yukke. I love yukke.
I love yuki too.
Oh,
Oh,
for
like
the
regular
audience,
beef yuke.
Yeah.
For the audience that doesn't know, yuke is just raw
It's
beef.
beef
so-
tartare.
Yeah, beef tartare.
And then what's that thing? What's the live octopus called again?
낙지.
Gee.
That's
So
my favorite. I love
live
nakji.
octopus.
Yeah. Yukke and nakji, I love that. It's the best combo. I like
When
the
did you go to Korea?
end of July, early August last year.
Mm.
Yeah, it sounds like you guys were all pretty much there around the same time. It would have been really cool if you guys all knew each other at the time. It would have been a lot of
Yeah,
fun.
We-
that would have been
We
fun.
didn't even know each other.
We could have started our podcast in Korea.
Become international.
Yeah. So let me pose a question to you guys. We're closing. We're getting close to 40 minutes of filming here. So we have an event coming up at KAFLA on December 7th, which is coming up soon. Annually, KAFLA has an annual gala where we do fundraising, and with those funds that we collect, we pretty much put it right back into the community. Whether it's through different constituent services. I know Jenny mentioned that we did a lot of programs on behalf of Korean Americans, but it's the one time that the Korean American Federation reaches out to our community and asks for sponsorships, donations, and basically help us help you kind of deal. And this year, our theme, the last few years, our themes were as follows. The first one I can remember was Ignite, Inspire, Impact. There were a lot of things that we were doing with the youth. We really wanted to ignite like a fire in some of our younger folks and, have them form a sense of Korean American identity, give back to the community, kind of some of the things that I discussed earlier. And then the second year, I think it was KAFLA Leads the Way. Right, we're leading the way in our community on behalf of Korean Americans to really advocate for and offer constituent services too. And then this year, I might have mentioned it earlier, but we're celebrating the 120th anniversary of Korean American immigration to the United States. Right, so basically, our ancestors have been here for 120 years. Koreatown became an official community of interest in the city of Los Angeles in 1982, I believe, and so. What is that? 51 years now, right? A little over 50 years. And with the formation of Squid Games, BTS, Blackpink, Dalgona candy, I mean, you name it, right? Korean culture is really on the map, and it's actually for the first time. And lucky for you guys, it's actually cool to be Korean American now. Because when I was growing up, it was tough. We faced a lot of racism. Obviously, like I mentioned earlier, we went through the LA riots, and we won't get into that too deeply today. But basically, Koreatown was destroyed and then rebuilt by Korean Americans, right? So this year, we're calling our theme is hometown, and in Korean, that's 고향, right? So I think all of you were born here in the United States, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, I don't know if you guys are the right people to ask this, but like, what does 고향 mean to you as a Korean American and as a son or daughter of, first generation or 1.5 generation Korean American immigrants? Alan, we'll start with you. What does 고향 or hometown mean to you?
Well, since I've spent most of my life growing up in LA in the Valley. I'd say my 고향 or my hometown is mostly just the Valley. Like I could consider it my hometown and where I feel the most comfortable. I do feel a connection to my motherland, which is Korea itself. But I think that pales in comparison to like my connection to where I spent so much of my time growing up, which is like the United States. So, yeah. What about you guys, Brandon?
I mean, like, how do I say this? Like, I can say, like, I mean, I've only, like, grew up in, been around, like, 2 main locations in my life. Berkeley, SF area, and Los Angeles, K-Town. And I've only, obviously, like, spent most of my life in the latter, which is K-Town. But for my hometown, I feel like you could like also take that question into more of like, in a different perspective, in a way where it's like, where do you feel like the most comfortable, not necessarily having to be physical, like I guess like in a mindset or certain groups of people that you feel like can make you feel in that hometown type of way, and I feel like that kind of can lead back into what KAFLA kind of does, and that we're we're a Korean American organization, but we serve other people, whoever lives in whichever ethnicities live in K-Town. We're very open to help too, anyways. So it's like, yeah, so like I was saying, like hometown can just be like, cause like I grew up with different communities. Like for example, like I didn't always just stay predominantly in the Korean community. Like I had to transition from middle school to high school, and that was like a very big transition for me too. And so it's like when I think about hometown, it's more of like what types of groups of communities I feel very comfortable with, and hopefully KAFLA becomes an organization that everyone can become comfortable with. We obviously get a lot of Korean American constituents coming in for our services, but it would be nice to have other members of the community come in too, because we're not scary. We're here to help. So that's what I really personally think about hometown. If you have anything else you want to say, Jenny?
Me personally, I identify my hometown 고향 as Korea more than living in America. But that's just me personally, because I relate more with the Korean culture, lifestyle, more than here. And I feel more at home in Korea than living in America, especially because all my family are there. But
Yeah. Oh, it's very interesting. Yeah, so that pretty much wraps up our first episode. Thank you guys for listening and watching. Also, make sure to check out our upcoming gala on December 7th. We hope to see you there. And yeah, make sure to watch out for our next episode. It'll be coming next week.
So before we say our final farewell to our viewers, we don't have a name for our podcast yet, guys. Right?
We don't, yeah.
I want to make it kind of fun and exciting and kind of reflective of what our mission is here. But instead of us discussing that right now, we're running on like 50 minutes right now of video of the episode. I kind of want to challenge the viewers and name our podcast for us.
Ooh.
Right? So let's do this. Let's play a little game. If you guys, whoever's watching, can put some suggestive podcast names down in the comment section. And then you guys review it. And then whoever gets the most thumbs up, we'll consider making that the title of our podcast. How's that? And then if the person who nominated the name gets chosen, I don't know, I'll think of a prize. I'll think of some sort of prize. It probably won't be cash, but it'll be something nice. That I promise. Okay, so go ahead and drop your comments of what you guys thought about the podcast today. Was it fun? Was it exciting? Was it really lame? I mean, whatever your opinions are, keep it kosher. Put it down in the comments, and then give us some suggestions for names for the podcast. And then whoever gets the most thumbs up will be considered to name our actual first podcast. All right. So thank you everybody for watching. Like Alan said, we will be next. I can't even talk anymore. I can't even say anymore. We'll be back next week with another episode. Now, what we need to do is we have to think of a very clever way to like say bye to our viewers. All right.
Yeah.
So, Jenny, any suggestions?
Just like 안녕.
Oh, I that's really simple, but I like it. Okay.
All right.
So, well, let's rehearse it once. 3. Look at the camera, the wide camera. 3, 2, 1.
안녕.
That actually worked out really well. Let's do it for real this time with a little bit more energy.
That was
Okay.
real.
3, 2, 1.
안녕.